Hey eLeapers, this is your librarian Adriana, and in this video I'm going to introduce you to some engineering specific databases um, in hopes that you will be able to find um, some kind of introductory information about your technologies that you're going to be researching. So let's hop to it. Last time we used the catalog, this huge search box up at the top here. We're going to skip that today and go right to the databases. So that little, very gentle gray, we like to hide it pretty well on the front page, tab here, click on that, and this will take you to the portal to all of the databases. We have around 400 plus databases, and this is how you gain entry into all of them. Now, if you're off campus, you can, of course, log in here using off campus access, and that will give you full access to all of our electronic stuff. So, um, let's take a look at some databases. There are a few ways that you can select the databases: by title, of course, by subject, and by type. Type refers to like the type of material that you're interested in, whether that's stuff like images or newspapers or statistical data. It's all here. Or you can search by subject. And subject, for our purposes, refers to like different fields of study on campus. So you'll notice that there's going to be um, a link for every single engineering discipline. So as we scroll through here, kind of take a look at that stuff: chemical engineering, biomedical, civil and environmental, and then let's see, electrical and computer engineering. And then there's just a basic engineering one. I'm going to click on that so you can see the whole scope of what's available. And it's pretty broad, really. So at the top of this list, we've got Academic Search Ultimate, which is a big, broad, multidisciplinary database that we're going to be looking at. I'd also like to introduce you to a few others, but let's start here. So the nice thing about all of this information, while it is very, very text heavy, you don't have to read this whole page. If you're like, I wonder what this database is about, then you can take a little bit of time and just see if this blurb gives you an indicator that, like, yeah, this is where I'm going to find the answers to the questions that I have. Cross your fingers. So, this also will tell you helpful things like what years of coverage are included. So if you're looking for some information that predates 1965, it might be a little bit trickier here. The other thing, and generally you don't have to pay much attention to this, but there are a handful of databases where there are a limited number of concurrent users. So just something to watch out for. Generally, you're not going to have an issue with getting into a database like the moment you click on it, like this one, for example. So, Academic Search Ultimate is, like I said, a multidisciplinary database. I like to use the databases a lot of the time in conjunction with Google Scholar. So, let's do the same search, here. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to do this exact same search in the other databases we look at as well. Okay. Let's do this here and see what happens. Okay. So first thing to notice anytime you do a search, whether you're in a database or you're on Google or Google Scholar or whatever, is to check out the number of results that you get, because you want to have something to work with. So this database, Academic Search Ultimate, gives us 128 results, where Google Scholar gives us almost 17,000 results. So it's a little bit different. Because Google is so familiar and it's such a powerful, useful search engine, I highly, highly recommend using Google Scholar. Um, some nice overlap between Google Scholar and the databases, you'll kind of get a sense of it here, is like the layout where we've got a little refinements menu in the left-hand margin here. In the body of the page, that's where you'll find your search results. And then Google Scholar, we got similarly, we've got a refinements menu over here, search results in the body of the page, and then you've got another set of links off to the right-hand side here. So the interesting thing about these links, and I'm going to ask y'all to maybe like grab your phone or just open another tab so you can do this right now before you forget. You can sync up the library's holdings with, so like our catalog, with with Google Scholar. I'm pointing at my computer right now. I'm so glad you can't see me. Anyway, so I'm going to click on this little 3 lines kind of icon and go to settings, and then to library links, and there, I've already done it, but you'll type in University of Utah, and you'll get this huge list of universities in Utah. So click Hours, leave Open World Cat because it's useful, and then hit Save. And that's where this set of links comes from. So if this doesn't take you to the full text for free, this link will. So I hope that makes some sense. Never, never pay for anything that the library can get for you. If you have questions about that, just send me an email at, I'm going to put my email right here just so we can look at it, adriana.parker@utah.edu. And yeah, send me an email and say, hey, I'm having trouble getting access to this article or this book or this video game. Whatever it is, we can get it for you, either from another library or from, we can just buy stuff too. So never buy things that have to do with your research. Let us handle that for you. All right, I'm going to erase that stuff. And yeah, let's close this tab because I feel like you probably don't need a whole lot of instruction using Google. All right, and this will be a very quick and dirty overview. So like I said, we've got 128 results. This number here is useful because it will tell you whether or not your search terms or your, yeah, we'll call them search terms. How about that? Your search terms, whether or not they have given you the number and type of results that you're interested in. So if you would like more results, this is a little bit counterintuitive. We would add another search term in. So the more information that you give to a database, the fewer results you'll get, but they're going to be more relevant to your research needs. All right, so we've got full text as an option that we can select here, references available, peer-reviewed. I am not sure if Dr. Virganta is interested in peer-reviewed stuff, so check in with her, find out. If so, you can always click this little box here. Otherwise, a thing that I think is really useful is to modify the search as far as the publication date goes. So the reason I'm leaving full text unchecked and peer-reviewed unchecked is because if it's not available in full text here, we've got a workaround. I'll show you. All right, so let's say I'm interested in the most current results that I can get. So let's take a look at stuff from the past 5 years. So 2017 to 2022. We're going to look at all different source types. And yeah, I'm going to hit enter. And we went from 128 results to 81 results. This is good news because they're going to be more current, which is my interest, and they're still relevant to my search needs. So let's see. Most of these you'll see have a PDF connected to them. They'll also tell you what kind of material you're looking at. So if it's an academic journal, you'll see these little icons. If it's a book, you'll see a book icon. Um, Sometimes you'll get multiple full text options and sometimes you won't get any. So this is why I don't check that full text only button, because we've got a Find It button. And what the Find It button does is it checks other databases to see if they have access to that same article. Here we go. Full text available. Hallelujah. All right, so full text is available. If I click that, it will actually just take me down to this section. And sometimes you'll see multiple blue links here, which are just to different databases. You click any of those and it will take you to the full text of the article that you couldn't get here. And all of our databases that are not exclusively full text, if they have some combination or if they're like abstracts only, we'll have that Find It button. And from here, you can view the PDF, you can download stuff. Oftentimes, you can get citations directly from the databases. So, yeah, this is pretty helpful, I think. Okie doke. I think that's about it for this database. It's pretty straightforward. But if you have questions, just let me know, and I am happy to help. Now, let's take a look at going back to the databases. Let's look at engineering stuff again. And we're going to scroll a bit. As you can see, just like scrolling through here pretty quickly, you're going to get engineering specific content. Some of it's going to be really dialed in. So like the American Society for Metals, that's pretty specific, versus the American Physical Society. I'm just going to highlight a few that might be potentially useful and show you what they look like. So American Chemical Society journals are great. This little blurb gives us so much information. If your technology that you're researching related to waste is also related to chemistry, this is the database for you. And it covers so many topics. This is wild. It goes back as far, sometimes, depending on your topic, as far as 1879. So yeah, tons of materials here, mostly focused on, well, these topics. My goodness, that's a lot. Here's what it looks like. It's going to ask me to log in and do dual authentication. All right. Now we'll get access. Whew. This is a busy looking database. So we can pair this account with the University of Utah if you are interested in using it. I'm going to do a broader search for waste management and India. Let's see what happens here. All right, so I went broader, 895 results. I bet I'd get thousands in Google Scholar, which is kind of overwhelming. But yeah, again, we can see abstracts, we can look at full text a lot of the time. I don't think you're going to have an issue with the Find It button in here because the vast, vast majority of these things are going to be full text. So if I click on any of these, the full text will give me this. The PDF, is just like same diff minus this interface, basically. It's just a direct scan of the article itself. So take time to read through the abstracts. This will save you so much time and energy because you'll be able to tell from this amount of information, so like maybe 200 words here, whether or not this article might potentially meet your research needs versus all of this info, reading the whole article, which you may get to do, to determine if it's going to be a good fit or not. So that's one. I don't know why I did that silly voice. It's probably because I haven't had coffee this morning, so thank you for bearing with me. Before we leave this database, I did want to show you the references section, because it gives us Google Scholar links, and that's really handy. So if any of these articles might be potentially useful to you, you have access to them right here. And I do always recommend when you're looking for articles, check out those bibliographies because you can farm some good citations there. The other thing I recommend, and I'll show you this on Google Scholar while I'm thinking of it. If we do this search, there we go. So, you know how I said to check out bibliographies in every article? Google Scholar does this thing where it shows you not only like in the context of the article itself, you'll get that bibliography. Gosh. You'll also get to see who has cited this article, and those are potentially useful citations as well. So scroll through. I love Google Scholar so much for this reason and many, many others. So let's see, back to the databases. We already checked out, what was it? I think it was the Association for, nope, it was not that. I am lying. It was the American Chemical Society database. But I do want to show you, so I'm going to highlight some that are potentially useful, just so we don't spend too much time doing sample searches. If your topic is related to computer science, there's, I'm getting there, I promise, the Association for, here we go, Computing Machinery Journals. So similar kind of setup to American Chemical Society. This is a journal. This is like full access to all of their volumes, but these are focusing on computing. Let's see, the next one I wanted to highlight is called Greener, G-R-E-N-R. There we go, global reference on the environment, energy, and natural resources. So that gives you a good sense of what that database is about. And it might look a little familiar to some of you, but if not, that's okay. Let's see what we've got here. All right, so this is kind of a different layout, but again, it basically functions the same way, where we've got the types of content you can look at up here, academic articles, nice. But on the right-hand margin this time, this is where you can filter your results. And you'll notice that a lot of these are abstract only, but that's okay, because you know how to search for stuff in other databases, thanks to that little Get It button. All right, so I'm going to pull up the academic articles. And let's see what happens if we're imagining that this one is an ideal fit for us. Okay. So I can check through here, see if it's relevant to my research needs by reading the abstract. This one looks like it is not giving us a Get It button, which kind of sucks. But it's good to know how to check for this stuff anyhow without the Get It button. So let's do a little experiment. The way that I would see if another database has this is by checking for, I'm trying to highlight this, resources, conservation, and recycling. That is a journal title. So we've got a couple of titles here. We've got the article title, which is pretty busy, compared to the simpler journal title. So even if you're looking at stuff in citations, that's like a good litmus test. Like, Is this wildly specific? It's probably an article title. If it's a little broader, then it's more likely to be a journal title. Anyway, that was a lengthy intro. So I'm going to go back to the library's website and I'm going to look for that journal. All right, so we know it's called Resources Conservation and Recycling, and we want to do a USearch catalog search. Well, let's see if this is going to do anything for us. Oh no, it went kind of wacky. Let's try that again. I know why. We had a space in between the first quote and the actual word. Okay, so here we go. Interesting. We do have online access to this journal. If I click here, we have access to it through all of these databases. Elsevier, this one is a really strange title. This one's a little less strange. All right, let's click on that one. And I'm going to close this tab down, and I'm going to search in this journal for this article title. So I'm going to grab the article title, and I'm going to go search in this journal, and I'm putting quotes around it because I want that exact title. And then I hit enter, and sometimes this happens. Sometimes we don't get those results. What a huge bummer. Okay, in this case, man, this is such a good example. I know it seems like a bad example, but bear with me. So in this case, what I would do, because it doesn't look like that is going to take us to, the specific article that we want. When was it published? Oh, it's very recent. It's from January 2022. So maybe there was some kind of barrier because it was very, very recent. Let's find out. This is good practice, I think. I hope. Because if you see me struggling a little bit with research, I hope that normalizes it. Research is a little bit about struggle. Mostly it's about this search engine being a jerk face today, though. Let's try it again. Thank you for bearing with my mess ups here. Okay, back to the online access thing. Let's see if this one gives us access to the publication we want. Oh no, it's also Science Direct. Let's try this one. Closing that out. Well, looks like we are out of luck, but we're not out of luck. Okay, still continues to be a good example because if we don't have something, can borrow it from another library. So I'm going to go back to the library's website, and I'm going to skip this huge search engine. I'm going to skip the databases tab, and I'm going to go directly to interlibrary loan. Ooh, you're getting a whole lot of information this tutorial. So I'm going to log in here, and this is a free service where if we don't have something like a journal article and you'd like us to borrow it from another library, we can do that. So I'll go in here and I'll make a new request for an article, and I would fill all this stuff out, all these required things, but you'll notice that, closing this tab, all of this info is here. So we've got stuff like the journal title and the article title. So we can copy and paste a vast majority of this stuff. All right, and the article author or authors, in this case it's multiple. And the volume was 176. The issue, we don't know if there's an issue number, but that's not required, so we're going to skip it. And it's January 2022. We have to include the pages that we want. What pages are they? We don't know. we can find out. Well, let's see. Maybe we can't, and that's okay. So I'm just going to write unknown. Will I accept the item in a language other than English? The default here is yes. I'm going to change it to no because I am unfortunately not multilingual. And then I'll submit this request. And the good news about this is that once it does get received, it'll just be right here. And I'll get to hold on to that PDF for 7 days. I can do whatever I want with it in that time. Like I can download it. I can print 1,000,000 copies. Nobody would even know. But yeah, use it so that it suits your research needs. And again, so you don't have to pay for anything. So this is a little bit of a trickier database because it doesn't have exclusively or a majority full text documents, but it does include some full text. And let's look at another database. The nice thing about databases is that if one doesn't work for you, there are about 400 others that we could, okay, not 400 others we could try out. There are a good handful of others we could try out. All right, so I want to introduce y'all to Engineering Village. My goodness, this is a long list. Here we go, Engineering Village. This is kind of a big baddie for our engineering databases. It covers a bunch of stuff, like almost 2 million articles. So kind of useful. All right, so again, we always look for that big search box, and we're going for this. You would, of course, type in your topic, not mine. This is just a little bit of a sample. And we've got 122 records. This database very happily uses the Find It button. So if you don't get a full text button, you do get a Find It button. That way you don't have to type in the journal title and all of that business. Again, limiting menu here. So if you want to restrict to a certain type of information or author affiliation, they also have a controlled vocabulary, which means these are the words that the people who organize the database use to categorize stuff. Yeah, and publication year. We've got, you'll see by each year that's listed, there's going to be a number in parentheses following that, and those are the number of citations connected to each of those years. So if you are most interested in, like we did last time, the past 5-6 years, we could limit to those or we could exclude those. I'm going to limit to. And then we can just grab any of these and look at full text. It takes just a moment to load. Happily it does. We've got the PDF here where you can download the whole thing. Under tools, you can, if you use a citation management system, you can do some stuff there. It doesn't look like it does give us just a cut and paste citation, but this is really great because it's full text. All right, so that's Engineering Village. I do want to show you one more. Let's do this. We'll just go backwards. Why not? All right. So I mentioned this earlier, I think. GREENER, the global reference on the environment, energy, and natural resources. This is a good one to explore. We're also going to take this is the last one I want to show you. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to show you one more after this, but this is a great big one for electrical and electronic engineering. So there's my search. Gonna grab some results here. It's starting to look very similar, I hope. Like design-wise, there's a little variation. Some are busier than others, but as far as like the stuff that's included, we'll always have a refinements menu. You'll always find your results in the body of the page. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Then we've got HTML full text here. You can look at the abstract exclusively in order to figure out whether you want to read the whole article or not. But yeah, I'm just going to click on this and show you what it looks like. Nice. This is some new material published in 2022. That's it, actually. Let's look at one last database. Because it's a huge one, it's called Scopus. There we go. We're getting there. Scopus. All right, this is probably our largest database. It has 70 million records, and each record represents a unique item. So whether that's an article or a conference paper or a book, that's in here. So this is not a majority full text, but it does use Find It button. I apologize for my stomach grumbling in the background. I haven't had breakfast yet today. What a huge bummer. Let's see. I'm getting a lot better at typing on screen. Okay, same kind of layout as the previous one. But like I said, this is not going to have a majority full text buttons, but you will get these amazing Find It buttons. So let's pretend this article, let's say I've read through the abstract. I'm like, yes, this is going to meet all of my research needs. Not really, but let's pretend it meets a lot of them. And we'll find out if we have access to it from another database. It's checking the availability. Oh no, it's no full text. So what do you do in this scenario? You can, usually there's a little link here to interlibrary loan, but since there isn't, I just want to remind y'all, it's on the front page. It's sort of, it feels a little buried, but it's right up top. You don't even have to scroll. Here is the link to interlibrary loan. All right. Let's see if another article will actually get us the full text, because I want to give you the utmost faith in these Find It buttons. They're pretty great most of the time. Let's see. Feeling hopeful. Yes, full text is available right here. Ta-da! That's awesome. Closing that. Here's what I wanted to show you below. There is generally going to be like a request an article button, just in case there isn't a full text thing. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That's really it. I think that if you're unafraid about exploring things and you're like, well, what happens if I do this? Let's see what happens. And remember, the number of results you get should ideally be a number that you're willing to look at, like every title and many, many abstracts. So if you're like getting a number where you're like, that's too much for me, even on Netflix, then continue to refine your search statement by adding additional words or limiters here. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Again, if you need anything at all, you can contact me at adriana.parker@utah.edu. And yeah, I'm happy to help with answering any questions, concerns, confusion that you've got. Please reach out. I don't want you to be working by yourself and struggling. I'm here to help, and I'm happy to help you out anytime. So let me know. Take care.